Hey, what's up guys? It's Corey here with Dapper Dollars, and today we're going to talk about how Hyliion is going to demolish Tesla in the race to putting a fully electric or carbon negative semi-truck on the road. You ready? Let's get started. So, this channel is all about using the online income we get from merch by Amazon and Etsy to increase our income, invest this income in things like the stock market and real estate so that we can build our financial freedom for ourselves and our family. If that sounds like something you're interested in, like and subscribe, and let's get started. So, let's first talk about what the options are as far as Hyliion and Tesla. What are each of these companies bringing to the table in addressing the Class 8 trucking space? Well, let's start with Tesla. They are bringing a semi-truck that will likely get 300 to 500 miles per battery charge, and it's about $180,000. Which means that it is going to be a completely new truck that is going to be purchased for these truckers in the future. Now, there is a slight issue. They don't have the infrastructure at all right now to set up to charge these semi-trucks in the future. They've talked about having superchargers out there, but for the Tesla semi-trucks, they're going to need something even bigger. They're going to need mega charging stations for these semi-trucks to charge them efficiently and quickly. And that is another issue, is the charging time and capacity to charge a Tesla semi-truck. Imagine how long and how much electricity it takes to charge your Tesla car, or maybe the, I don't know, the bigger versions of the Tesla Model T, I think, is the bigger one. And anyway, think about how long it takes to charge those. It's going to take exponentially more energy and longer to charge those Tesla semi-trucks. So that is what Tesla is bringing to the market. Let's talk about Hyliion. What are they bringing to the market for Class 8 trucks? Well, what Hyliion is doing is replacing the drivetrain on existing trucks. So you will not have to purchase a fully, just to replace your truck. You will only be able to replace the powertrain on the truck. And what this does is it maintains everything that trucks were able to do in the future. It basically turns the semi-truck into a Prius in that it has a battery charger, and the motion of the wheels turning and the resistance of braking charges the battery, which puts power out to the rear axle and gives the truck a longer gas mileage. And if they're using the current hybrid hybrid powertrain, it runs off of diesel or carbon natural gas, and that will be able to basically fully function within the infrastructure that exists. And is basically, the same thing that they have now. It just is basically a Prius. So those are the two things that are being brought to the market as far as what Hyliion is offering and what Tesla is offering. So what kind of markets are these guys addressing, and what kind of markets are they fighting for? And this is likely going to tell the story of why Hyliion is going to dominate Tesla in the future. So Tesla is likely fitted for the inner city trucking industry. The inner city trucking industry means that it is just a semi-truck that transports between points of large cities. If you think Dallas, if you think Austin, San Francisco, Los Angeles, trucks in those spaces will likely be Teslas because they don't have to travel long distances. They can go 300 to 500 miles in a day, and they can charge overnight, and that will be an efficient way for these trucks to operate, and it will comply with the laws that are being passed down as far as, especially in California, certain trucks, if they go through places, they're not allowed to go through there if they are not a certain carbon emissions level or, no carbon at all, so a battery electric vehicle. So Tesla would likely be used in those situations, and they would actually be a better, result. However, we also have the issue of long-haul truckers, and that is where Hyliion is going to likely take over, because Hyliion keeps the trucks that are on the road now moving. They just make them much more efficient and potentially carbon negative in the future if they are fueled with renewable natural gas. Now, if you're interested in the renewable natural gas market, I'm in a stock called Aemetis. I'll link to that here on my latest video for Aemetis. You can check out that stock. It has done incredibly well. I think I'm up around 300%. But anyway, that's a different video. Right now, we're talking about Hyliion and Tesla and the future of these two companies. So Hyliion is likely going to take over the long-haul trucking space. But what does that mean for Hyliion, and is it actually going to be a profitable thing for them to do? is it going to produce enough revenue for them to survive if they're only going after long-haul truckers? Well, right now, there are 1.8 million long-haul trucks on the road. You know, these are people who are just going long-haul. So, that is what the market that they can go after, but you know, Hyliion is not exactly widely accepted right now, and a lot of people are very speculative about it. So let's say Hyliion is only able to get to 30% of this market. So they only have 540,000 people that they are able to sell to or that are willing to buy their products. This still, for just their you know, hybrid model that they have now, not the ERX that's coming out in the future, but just for their hybrid model now, I believe it is $84 billion total addressable market that they're looking at. Now, if you look at the hybrid ERX, which is the $220,000 drivetrain that would be applied to a different semi, that is now a $118 billion total addressable market that they're looking at. And if you look at Hyliion's market cap right now, at least on, what is today? The 11th of March 2021, their market cap is around $2 billion. So they have a tremendous area to grow because, like we said, Tesla is only able to go 300 to 500 miles, and I think they can get to 800 if you put an extender on there. And that is just not acceptable for long-haul truckers that go, you know, at least 1,000 miles in a day. You know, you wonder how whenever you buy a package and it ships from New York, and I'm in Louisiana, so I get a package from New York in about a day. And those are likely put on trucks that drive from New York to Louisiana in a day. You cannot do that if you are just in a Tesla semi-truck. You're going to have to stop and recharge, and that is going to take at least an hour out of your day just to charge your semi-truck. Now, there are some issues with Tesla as far as even producing a semi-truck that we're going to talk about later. But the issue, or the main thing that we're talking about in this video, is how Hyliion is going to dominate in this market. And this is the path to success for them. Like we said, even if they only get 30% of this market in the semi-truck industry as far as long-haul truckers, they're looking from an $84 to $118 billion worth of revenue in the future. That is insane. Now think if they got to 50%, that's 20% more than where they're at now. Think if it's even widely accepted from there. They get, you know, 70% of the market. Because in the future, it is very, you know, reasonable to expect that this green energy movement is going to be what people are focused on. Because America is the leading country as far as lowering emissions for the rest of the world. And so we are likely going to continue to keep that pace going through products like Hyliion in the future. So the revenue amounts for Hyliion are insane in the future. They just have to keep capitalizing on what they're doing. But let's also consider the fact that America is not the only country in the world that does trucking. They can sell to countries like China and Europe. China and Europe are the, well, Europe is technically a continent, but China is a country. I think, no, China's on Asia. Asia's a continent. China is a country. China is the second largest freight trucking user, I guess, in the world. So let's say Hyliion is able to sell to China as well, and then they're able to sell to the people in Europe. This opens up a much bigger market for Hyliion in the future, potentially doubling or tripling what they're able to do as far as sales in the future. This is a great thing for Hyliion. Now, this isn't something that they've talked about yet. Obviously, they're just working on getting it rolled out to people in the US. Likely, they will go after the other countries in the future. Now, let's also talk about the fact that what they're offering is technically a one-off product that could be a little bit of a hindrance to these guys in the future. Because, like, you know, if you think about products that are one-offs, it's like a mattress or like a couch. People don't go out and look for mattresses or couches all the time. They just buy a mattress, buy a couch, and that's it. And then they might see you again in 10 years. So what is the possibility that this could happen to Hyliion and eventually they service all the trucks in the US and China and Europe, and then now the market's dried up? Well, they also have batteries because as Thomas Healy suggested in a video that I'll link down below in an interview, the batteries for these trucks can get used rather quickly because Hyliion uses more batteries that are smaller to power their powertrains, whereas Tesla is using a much bigger battery than they are. So what this means is that Hyliion is going to produce batteries that they can sell for their powertrains in the future. So they have set up somewhat of a recurring revenue service through being able to produce and sell their own batteries. Yes, they get their batteries from Toshiba. I know a few people have pointed this out and they say, oh, Hyliion's just basically a chop shop and they're using parts from other places to put a battery together and their powertrain and then they sell that. Well, yeah, that's true. And guess what? Tesla uses Panasonic's battery, so what now? Anyway, this is a great thing for Hyliion because, like we said, it could be a potential recurring revenue service for them in the future. And I would love to see Hyliion come out with a software as a service for their powertrains because they have an onboard navigator and was it trip analyzer or something like that that shows them the stats of how they're getting better fuel economy and things like that. It kind of gamifies what the drivers are able to do and saving fuel. So it gives you a score for if you're driving, with fuel economy in mind and you're getting the most out of the Hyliion powertrain, it gives you a score. And so it kind of gamifies the situation so that you're competing with yourself and other drivers to get a better score to be more environmentally friendly. That's just a side note, it's pretty cool. But anyway, if they could have a software as a service that does more than just gamify the situation and actually gives updates and things like that, I think it would be a great thing for Hyliion, and then that would be an official, completely passive, recurring revenue service that they could have in the future that is on every powertrain that they sell in the future. Now, there is the issue that we talked about with Tesla, and it is a pretty big thing whenever you listen to Tesla, one of Tesla's recent earnings calls, is that they are putting the semi-truck on hold again because of the supply levels of the battery cells in the future. This is a very serious thing, and it is definitely serious for Tesla because the semi-truck that they would come out with is entirely battery powered, whereas Hyliion, it is using the renewable natural gas or natural gas to power the powertrain, and then the movement of the powertrain charges the battery that's on board. And in their latest, I think Q4 report and their latest call that they've had, Hyliion has said that the battery pack on the Hyliion powertrain can charge within 8 minutes. 8 minutes is pretty astounding. Just think you could fuel up your truck, charge your battery, and then you're back on the road just in no time because, like they've said in these demonstrations of the Hyliion powertrain, the movement of the wheels and the braking of the truck, they use that energy from the resistance on the powertrain to charge the battery itself. So the battery is self-charging and basically charging as it goes down the road. So the 8-minute charge is really not that hard to believe, and that's also assuming you even have to charge the battery. But this also means that since it's being used as far as putting energy in and taking energy out of that battery so much, it could potentially wear the battery down in the future, and that's why you're going to have to replace the batteries every now and then. And that is also a great thing for Hyliion. So the supply level of batteries for Tesla is an issue, and they have acknowledged that they make more money selling cars than they would selling a Tesla Semi. So the Semi has been pushed back again. I think the Semi was they rolled it out in 2017, and it was supposed to be done and delivered by 2019. But here we are in 2021 and still no Tesla Semi. Well, Hyliion is willing and definitely able to step into the gap. So I think 2021 and 2022 are going to be great years for Hyliion. I think Q4 2021 is going to be the real opportunity for us to see what Hyliion is actually capable of. And then 2022, I think we're just going to see, constant revenue growth and new customers for Hyliion in the future. So anyway, this is my bullish thesis on why I think Hyliion is going to destroy Tesla in the future. If you have any thoughts or concerns, I would love to talk with you about that. Leave me a comment below. And anyway, I hope you guys are having a great week. I hope that you have a great rest of the weekend. And remember, someone is going to do something amazing every day, guys. Why not you? See ya.